Ladies and gentlemen, let us begin with a simple yet powerful truth. Success is not an accident. It is a result, an outcome governed by laws as precise as those that govern gravity. Now, why do 98% of people fail, while only 2% rise to the top? It is not luck. It is not intelligence. It is not where you were born or who your parents were. It is the result of thinking patterns, decisions, and daily habits. Definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all personal achievement. Without it, effort is scattered, energy is diluted, and the results, no matter how sincere or hardworking a person may be, fall short of anything truly significant. It is not enough to want success. It is not even enough to work hard for it. The question is, what exactly are you working toward? Most people cannot answer that question with precision. They can tell you what they don't want: stress, debt, failure. But they stumble when asked what they do want, down to the fine details. Lack of clarity is the silent killer of dreams. Definiteness of purpose means having a clear, specific goal that becomes the central focus of your life. It is the compass by which every decision is measured, every opportunity evaluated, and every action aligned. It brings order to chaos. Where others are overwhelmed by options and distractions, the person with a definite purpose sees only one path, their path, and they walk it with unshakable conviction. The power of definiteness lies in its ability to filter your thoughts and actions. Think of the mind like a magnifying glass. When scattered sunlight is warm at best, but when focused through the lens of definiteness, that same light can ignite fire. The average person diffuses their energy, trying a little of this, dabbling in a bit of that, jumping from idea to idea. But the high achiever channels their energy into one clear direction, and that focus generates momentum. This concept is not just about having goals. Goals are common. What separates the winners from the masses is the emotional connection to that goal. Oh, definiteness of purpose transforms a goal into a mission. Surveillance creativity and drives resilience when obstacles appear as well. Without a clear purpose, people fall prey to distraction, fear, and the opinions of others. They become reactive instead of proactive, drifting from job to job, idea to idea, relationship to relationship, wondering why fulfillment and success always seem just out of reach. They might blame circumstances or bad luck, but the real issue is internal, a lack of direction. Purpose gives meaning to discipline. It justifies sacrifice. It gives you the strength to say no to the good so you can say yes to the great. It forces you to prioritize your time, your energy, and your attention. When you are clear on your purpose, your life becomes intentional. You wake up with direction. You move through the world with confidence, not because everything is easy, but because everything is aligned. Those who fail to define their purpose end up helping others fulfill theirs. They work jobs they don't love, chase dreams that aren't theirs, and settle for lives far below their potential. But the few who do define it, who take the time to ask themselves what they truly want, why they want it, and what they're willing to give for it, those are the individuals who rise, not by accident, not by chance, but by choice. Failure to take initiative is one of the most common reasons people fail to move forward in life. It is not a lack of talent, intelligence, or even resources that holds them back. It is the hesitation to begin. So many individuals wait for the perfect moment, the right opportunity, or someone else to give them permission to act. But the reality is, those who win in life are the ones who understand that action precedes clarity, not the other way around. Initiative is the spark that sets everything else in motion. It is the decision to move forward in the face of uncertainty, to take the first step even when the path ahead is not fully visible. Most people are conditioned to wait for approval, for guarantees, for a sign that they won't fail. But waiting becomes a habit. It becomes a comfortable hiding place from the fear of making mistakes. And while they wait, time passes. Opportunities are missed. Life slips by. The truth is, the perfect moment never comes. Conditions are rarely ideal. If you wait until everything is just right, you'll spend your whole life waiting. Those who take initiative understand this. They do not let the fear of imperfection stop them. They act, they adjust, they learn, and they know that movement creates momentum, and momentum creates more opportunities. Failure to take initiative often stems from a deep-rooted fear of failure or rejection. People hesitate because they don't want to be judged or misunderstood. They worry about what others will think, whether they'll succeed, whether they're good enough. But in doing so, they miss the chance to discover what they're capable of. Taking initiative is not about being fearless. It's about moving forward despite the fear. Another reason people fail to take initiative is the illusion of over-preparation. They tell themselves they need to read one more book, gather more information, take another course. It is often procrastination in disguise. Preparation is valuable, but it must eventually lead to execution. Knowledge without action is wasted potential. At some point, you have to leap and trust that you will learn more by doing than by waiting. Initiative also requires personal responsibility. When you take initiative, you stop blaming your circumstances, your past, or other people. You'll recognize that no one is coming to rescue you. You take control of your life. You decide that your future will not be determined by luck or fate, but by the actions you choose to take right now. Those who succeed are not necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They are the ones who begin. They start the project. They make the call. They knock on the door. They send the email. And even if they fail, they moved closer to their goal than those who remain stuck in hesitation. Initiative is the doorway to progress. Without it, nothing begins. With it, everything becomes possible. If you want to rise above the 98% who spend their lives reacting instead of creating, start by taking initiative. Don't wait to be told. Don't wait to be ready. Start where you are with what you have and do what you can. The simple act of beginning separates the dreamers from the doers and the spectators from the leaders. Lack of persistence is one of the most destructive habits that quietly sabotages the success of countless individuals. It's not always loud or obvious. In fact, it often wears the disguise of logic. Maybe this just isn't meant for me, or I've tried enough times, or I'll come back to it later. But behind every abandoned dream, every incomplete goal, and every unrealized potential lies the silent hand of someone who gave up too soon. Persistence is the ability to keep going, not just when things are easy or exciting, but when they are frustrating, slow, and uncertain. Most people are enthusiastic at the beginning. They start with energy and big expectations. But when results don't come quickly, when setbacks arrive, or when the work gets repetitive, they start to lose heart. The challenge isn't in starting, it's in continuing. And that is where the 98% fall off track. They stop at the first major resistance, or at the first sign of failure, believing that struggle is a signal to quit. But struggle is not a stop sign, it's a test. Every meaningful achievement is guarded by obstacles. Those who persist are not immune to failure. They simply refuse to let failure be the final word. They understand that success is not one big leap. It is a series of consistent steps taken over time, often in the face of doubt, fatigue, and fear. They show up even when they don't feel like it. They try again when others would walk away. That determination, over time, compounds into progress that becomes unstoppable. Lack of persistence often stems from unrealistic expectations. In a world obsessed with speed, instant results, and overnight success stories, many believe that if they don't succeed quickly, they're doing something wrong. But real success rarely happens fast. It is slow, it is layered, and it often requires doing the same thing over and over before the breakthrough comes. Those who lack persistence give up too soon because they misinterpret slow progress as failure. Another cause is emotional fatigue. People allow discouragement, self-doubt, and the opinions of others to drain their drive. They start listening to inner voices that whisper, This is pointless, or you're not good enough until they believe it. The persistent, however, learn to silence that noise. That noise. They remind themselves of their purpose, their vision, and their reason why. That deep emotional anchor keeps them grounded when everything else feels uncertain. It's also important to understand that persistence is a skill. It can be developed like any other. It is strengthened every time you push through resistance, every time you keep a promise to yourself, and every time you show up when it would be easier to quit. It doesn't require perfection, just consistency. The difference between those who win and those who fall short is rarely brilliance or luck. Oh, it's often something much simpler. One more try, one more step, one more refusal to quit. Those who persist win, not because they never failed, but because they never let failure define them. Persistence is the bridge between desire and achievement. Without it, even the best plans fall apart. With it, even the most impossible goals can be reached. The environment a person lives in plays a profound role in shaping their mindset, decisions, and ultimately their success or failure. Most people underestimate just how deeply their surroundings influence their thoughts, behaviors, and expectations. Whether it's the people they spend time with, the conversations they engage in, the media they consume, or even the spaces they inhabit, every element of their environment is either pushing them forward or pulling them back. Success is rarely achieved in isolation. It is built in environments that encourage growth, challenge complacency, and support higher standards, but for many, their environment does the opposite. They are surrounded by negativity, fear-based thinking, low expectations, and people who have settled for less. Over time, this has a subtle yet powerful effect. Without even realizing it, they start to think smaller, aim lower, and believe less in their potential. Their goals shrink to match the limitations of those around them. The dreams they once had are slowly traded for security, approval, or comfort. The most dangerous environments are not the ones filled with obvious harm, but the ones that normalize mediocrity. It is not always the criticism that breaks people. It's the quiet acceptance of just getting by. When you are consistently surrounded by people who do not challenge themselves, who do not take risks, or who make excuses instead of progress, it becomes easy to adopt those same patterns. It becomes normal to procrastinate, to complain, or to rationalize failure. On the other hand, those who win in life are intentional about their environment. They choose to place themselves in spaces that demand more from them. They surround themselves with individuals who are striving, growing, and thinking big. They seek out mentors, join communities of ambition, and protect their energy from negative influences. They understand that if you want to think at a higher level, you must be around people who operate at that level. Your environment does more than affect your mindset. It affects your standards. If everyone around you settles for average, it becomes easy to settle too. But if your circle expects excellence, discipline, and growth, you are far more likely to rise to that level. People are influenced by what is expected of them, and those expectations are often set by the people they are closest to. This principle extends beyond people. The books you read, the content you consume, the noise you allow into your mind, it all matters. If your mind is constantly filled with distractions, drama, and fear-based messages, how can you expect to think clearly, creatively, or confidently? On the other hand, if you feed your mind with knowledge, inspiration, and empowering messages, your thinking begins to shift, and so does your life. Creating a winning environment does not require perfection, but it does require awareness. Take inventory of who and what you allow to influence you. If your current environment is holding you back, you have a responsibility to change it. That might mean distancing yourself from certain people, limiting time spent in draining situations, or actively seeking out new, growth-oriented spaces. Ultimately, your environment either supports your goals or sabotages them. And while you may not control everything around you, you always control what you allow to shape you. Choose wisely. Failure to make decisions is one of the most overlooked causes of failure. At first glance, indecision may seem harmless, just a delay, a moment to think things over. Oh, but in reality, indecision creates stagnation. It breeds anxiety, drains confidence, and over time, erodes ambition. People who consistently fail to make decisions end up living life in limbo, caught between options but committed to none. They become spectators in their own journey, watching opportunities pass by, watching others advance, all while convincing themselves that they're just thinking it through. Decisiveness is a hallmark of successful individuals. It's not that they never make mistakes, it's that they choose and they learn. They understand that action leads to clarity. The truth is, most decisions don't require perfect knowledge. They require courage, the willingness to commit, take a stand, and face the consequences. Good or bad is what separates the 2% who lead from the 98% who follow. Those who fail to decide are often waiting for certainty, but certainty rarely comes before action. It is earned through experience. Every major success begins with the decision to start, the decision to believe, the decision to persist when it gets hard. Without these moments of clear choice, progress is impossible. But the habit of hesitation is common. People fear making the wrong choice, so they make no choice at all. They wait for more information, for validation, for a sign that it's safe. And while they wait, life moves on without them. This paralysis is especially dangerous because it often feels responsible. People say they're being careful, cautious, analytical. But analysis without action quickly becomes overthinking. It creates doubt instead of direction. It leaves a person stuck in the same spot, thinking about change but never moving toward it. Eventually, indecision becomes a lifestyle, a way to avoid risk, accountability, and even growth. One of the most powerful things a person can do to change their life is to develop the habit of decisive thinking. This doesn't mean rushing or being reckless. It means learning to trust your judgment, to assess a situation, and then commit to a course of action. It means understanding that not all decisions will be right, but all decisions will move you forward in some way, either through progress or through a valuable lesson. Indecisive people often struggle with self-trust. They doubt their ability to make good choices, so they avoid making them altogether. But self-trust is built through action. The more decisions you make, the more feedback you receive. And the more you learn, the more confident you become in your ability to choose wisely. Over time, this creates a powerful cycle of growth. In life, not deciding is still a decision. And more often than not, it's a decision to settle for less. When you fail to choose, someone else will choose for you, your boss, your partner, your peers, even your fears. If you want to lead your life instead of being led by it, you must reclaim your power to decide. Be deliberate. Be bold. Every step toward your goals begins with a single firm decision. A lack of control over the mind is one of the most damaging yet invisible causes of failure. The mind is the most powerful tool a person possesses, yet for many it becomes their greatest enemy. Instead of using it to build, direct, and grow, they allow it to wander, doubt, and destroy. Without discipline of thought, success remains out of reach, no matter how much talent, opportunity, or desire a person may have. The uncontrolled mind is reactive, chaotic, and easily influenced. It absorbs fear, entertains limitation, and magnifies every obstacle until progress seems impossible. Every action begins as a thought. People begin to hesitate, procrastinate, and sabotage themselves not because they're incapable, but because their mind has not been trained to serve them. Instead of controlling their thoughts, they are controlled by them. They wake up anxious, go to sleep distracted, and live each day mentally overwhelmed. In this state, creativity, clarity, and courage are drowned out by the noise of internal conflict. A person with no control over their mind is at the mercy of circumstances. If things go well, they feel good. If challenges arise, they fall apart. Their emotional state is dictated by external events because their internal world is weak and undisciplined. They struggle to focus, to follow through, to stay calm under pressure. They are easily influenced by other people's opinions, constantly second-guessing themselves and seeking validation. The root problem isn't outside. It's inside. Gaining control over the mind is not about suppressing thoughts. It's about learning how. In the end, success is not just a matter of strategy, skill, or opportunity. It is a battle that starts in the mind. If you cannot win that battle, you will struggle to win anywhere else. But if you learn to take control of your thoughts, to guard your focus, and to discipline your inner world, there is no limit to what you can achieve. The strongest people are not those without fear or doubt. They are those who have mastered their minds in spite of them. Ignorance of success principles is one of the most significant yet misunderstood reasons why so many people fail to reach their potential. Most individuals believe that hard work alone is enough to achieve success. While effort is essential, it must be guided by knowledge, specifically the knowledge of how success actually works. Without understanding the fundamental principles that govern achievement, people can work tirelessly and still find themselves stuck, frustrated, and going in circles. Success is not random. It follows a set of timeless principles that, when understood and applied, consistently produce results. These principles, such as clarity of purpose, persistence, self-discipline, initiative, and the power of decision, are not taught in most traditional education systems. As a result, people leave school equipped with technical knowledge or job-specific skills, but lack the wisdom needed to build a successful life. They enter adulthood trying to figure things out through trial and error, often repeating the same mistakes over and over again. Ignorance in this context does not mean a lack of intelligence. It means a lack of exposure. Many people simply do not know that success can be studied, learned, and applied like any other field. They assume that successful people are lucky, privileged, or naturally gifted. They don't realize that most high achievers became that way by learning and living according to principles that are available to everyone. This ignorance leads to misaligned actions. People chase shortcuts, fall for get-rich-quick schemes, or invest in the wrong opportunities because they haven't developed the foundational understanding to evaluate decisions wisely. They make choices based on emotion, impulse, or public opinion rather than on timeless truths. And when things don't work out, they blame external factors, bad luck, unfair systems, or lack of support, never realizing that the missing piece was internal. Knowledge of how success is actually built. One of the most dangerous effects of this ignorance is learned helplessness. Hopelessness. When someone tries repeatedly and fails without understanding why, they begin to believe that success is not for them. They lose confidence. They stop dreaming big. They settle for survival instead of striving for greatness. All the while, the real issue isn't that they can't succeed. It's that they don't know how. Learning the principles of success requires humility and a willingness to grow. It means seeking out mentors, reading books, studying achievers, and investing time into personal development. And it means asking deeper questions, not just what do I want, but what do successful people consistently do to create the outcomes I desire? Once these answers are found, they must be applied with discipline and patience. Knowledge alone is not enough. But knowledge combined with consistent action transforms lives. The right principles act like a map. They show you where to go, what to avoid, and how to navigate challenges. Without that map, even the most motivated person can stay lost for years. In a world full of noise and distractions, the person who commits to learning the real laws of success gains a powerful advantage. They no longer rely on luck or guesswork. They move with purpose, clarity, and strategy. Ignorance keeps you stuck. Understanding sets you free. And when you make the decision to educate yourself in the principles of success, you begin to take control of your future. One insight, one action, one breakthrough at a time.